Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's event with NeoDynamics. And with me today, I have the CEO, Anna Eriksrud. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you very much.
And focus today is gonna be the full year report and latest events in NeoDynamics. Just a couple of things for the audience. If you want to post any questions during the presentation, you are as always very welcome, and you can post your questions just below the video window, and I will forward the questions to Anna after the presentation. So with that said, Anna, please carry on and welcome.
Thank you very much, Klaus. So we have our 12-month interim report, and just a quick brief on NeoDynamics, the most essential parts. As you know, we are a Swedish medtech company listed on the First North here in Stockholm. We have a product in the area of breast cancer for the diagnosis of breast cancer. And everybody that is in this area knows that you need a biopsy, a tissue sample, in order to take the correct diagnosis. So NeoNavia will play an important role here. We have received CE approval in Europe and also FDA clearance in the US, which is actually triggering the expectations, of course, because US for a medtech company is very important. It is the technology, the medical technology mecca, so to say, is in the US. And if you want to be seen, then you need to be out there. In brief, as our report also told, we have had a new order from a larger hospital in Germany. We have also had smaller orders, but I think this was an important one. And again, why was it important? Well, it was important because of the name of the hospital. And with all of, so to say, the sales strategy we have, it is very much based on that we want to reach the university centers first. They are influential. They tell their colleagues what they feel is important to use in the biopsy area, for example. The BSBR, British Society of Breast Radiology, we were there again, and this is very important. It is the English-speaking part that is meeting there, so people are coming from other countries as well. We had a substantial cost reduction plan implemented and started off it was announced in November. And of course, with terminations, etc., it takes some time before it's implemented. So I'm pretty sure I will get some questions on that as well afterwards. The board of directors assessed, as we say, the current financial situation and found that it is important that we also ensure that we can go on, and that we did with both a warrant program then in November, as well as a short-term financing of a loan of 10 million. We had the possibility to start our registry in Germany, and that is important in the way that we have a true evaluation of the product in the centers, and this is something that the authorities love to see, that you document what is happening in clinical practice. The doctors are buying the needle, so it's not any study in that respect. This is true real life data, so to say. And we were sorry to say, but we had also to say to Aaron, our CFO, to leave and that was depending on the cost reduction plan, simply. Now, this quarter, what has happened of significant importance? In January, we were announcing that we would also go out with a rights issue to bring in 25 million Swedish crowns to finance our commercialization, marketing activities, etc. And with this amount, we feel that we have a possibility to get some room for evaluating the different options we have. We will manage with that, but it will be tough, I'm sure. But it is for this year that we are bringing in the 25 million. We also decided at the EGM, or we got the decision, the board proposed that we are doing a reverse split. And this is not primarily due to our financial, so to say, finances, but rather that it was very unpractical with all these numbers of shares. And finally, we secured a second loan. It's a long-term loan of 15 million. So what opportunities do we see? I would like to say that we have now, first, primarily a full suite of needles. Those who have followed us know that we have had to fine-tune our needles. We have had to take them back and then test them again. The ones that have been very patient is actually primarily our doctors, our customers, who have said, when we have been a bit desperate, they've said, this is the normal way, this is how the big medtech companies are doing, and you need to do the same. We need to test them, they fine-tune, etc. But it is really the customers that have encouraged us to continue, because our biopsy needles are unique with the pulse technology. We have no regulatory barriers as regards FDA or Europe. We are really clear there. We have an access to the US market, and it is large, 50% of the global market for biopsies, actually. And today we have ongoing negotiations with our top tier 1 hospitals in the US in the cancer area. We announced in August we had a confirmed order, which we had. However, you know, the customers are one thing, they can place the order, but then it is the procurement department that is as tough or even tougher. And there are many legal papers that you have to go through. I would say that we are by the end now, but that has taken much longer time than we anticipated, and I'm very sorry that, I'm sorry that has taken such a time. But I also understand when you talk to people in the business, they say that the hospitals are taking much more time now than earlier before the pandemic. Strong key opinion leader engagement is really clear in both Europe and the US. We are good at that, and it's thanks to the key opinion leaders that we could actually, from Europe, we could enter in US in a very, in a very good way, because they supported us, they exchanged contacts, they say that you should really meet NeoDynamics, etc. And this is the way how it should be handled, actually. And in general, a very positive market feedback, I would say. The challenges we face, yes, it is time, actually. Now we have the approvals and we have expectations. However, navigating through the processes in the hospitals, even though we focus on a handful, actually 2 big hospital chains in the US, for example, it takes time to get through their processes and procedures. And this is related to that we have, so to say, a totally new product. Even though approved by FDA, it is new for the hospital. And that's why they are very rigorous in going through all the documentation. And we are balancing, of course, the speed of our commercialization with actually available finances. We have to do that. And that's expected, but it is also a challenge when you start a commercialization. So next up, it is very important for a company like ours now. Now we can tick off the development, we can tick off the regulatory procedures, and we are into the commercialization. And what do a partner or any, so to say, new into this field, what do they look at? They look at if we have repeat prescriptions or repeat orders. And that is what we call proof of concept. So we are there. We have the initial orders, but we need also to show more. With the first order, though, I'm sure that the exposure will be higher and higher, and that's good also for us. We have discussed this during several years, that the aim is that we will find a commercial partner. This company is not going to, so to say, have an organic development of sales force, etc., because then you need several products. What we can be good at NeoDynamics is actually the development, and we can use the technology platform for other indications as well, which is exciting. Through this rights issue, as I mentioned, we can buy ourselves time to consider our options in 2024. So that was the presentation. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Anna. And with that said, we open up questions, and there's a couple of questions coming in here, Anna. So if we start with the upcoming rights issue, and you briefly touch upon, the difficulties of commercializing in relation to cash available. But with those gross proceeds of 25 million Swedish kronor, how far will it take you, and what other options are you looking into medium to long term?
For this year, we're counted on, so to say, a base scenario where these 25 million will be sufficient. It will be a very tight organization. We will go only to the key players in the markets. However, we will reach them proof of concept, maybe not so quickly as if we had a larger amount of people. However, when we do this, we expose ourselves to partners, we expose ourselves to maybe other investments scenarios, and that's what we need to look into. But with the 25 and with this long-term loan that we are not calculating on, we need to renegotiate, but we should be fine with that.
Good, thanks a lot, Anna. And then let's dive a little into the different markets. So you mentioned this important German order. What would that imply long term? And could you elaborate a little about how is the order structured? How long is it running? Anything about pricing, number of needed?
I would say like this, that our base unit and driver, that's what they need to invest in.
Yes.
And there are hospitals that have invested in that without really going into any evaluation process because they have had the money.
Mm.
So that has been very good. Otherwise, they can also, the alternative is to lease the products, for example. And then they buy for just what they need for a month or something, the needles in order to test. But we know that after 2 weeks with the core pulse, they need to reorder, so to say. So a hospital, especially in the university centers, they could have on an average 500 biopsies per year performed. And then if we can reach with the base unit placed there, we count on, as we have also told in different so to say, areas of where we have discussed, so to say, market shares, I've turned into, rather to say, per hospital, we talk about a market share of 50% after a year and a half. And then you can calculate. But then depending on the resources, you can work on several hospitals or you focus on one. If we move to US, the number of biopsies performed per year is, of course, much larger. But we talk about in Europe, you have several hospitals with this size, which is large for being, for example, in Germany.
Good.
And with this hospital, they will then influence others to follow lead.
Yeah, because up until now, you have been the hospitals in Europe and primarily in the DACH region. they have more or less borrowed your base unit and then bought the needles. And we see that in your turnover for the full year as well.
Correct.
But now we are entering into another phase, because now you all the feedback you got from the clients, you have fixed those issues, and you have further learned a lot about what the hospitals are actually asking for, because it's more like a suite of needles, as I understand you, right, Anna? Instead of only the Vaco or only the FlexiPulse. Isn't that right? Could you please tell us a little about that?
So in Europe, we have a suite of 3 needles approved. And in the situation with US, we have both the VacuPulse and the FlexiPulse needle. Those are the premium priced needles. The Core Pulse is the bread and butter, but has a higher price pressure. So in the situation of Europe now, they have the whole suite, and they have said that with that, they can now decide on to become a customer. That means also including buying or leasing the base unit. In the UK, you have larger hospitals with several rooms where they do biopsy. So that means you have a possibility to sell more base units, and you have so to say, fewer targets to follow up on than in Germany. And then finally, in the US, you have these large chains of cancer hospitals where it is essential that you wait, you have the patients to start in the right end of the hospital. That means you need to have the mother hospital with you. And then you have a possibility to influence all the others in that group to do the same. And of course, it has influenced us a lot that we have not had all the needles available in Europe until now. And that's also why you see a small, so to say, sales in December, but we had, so to say, we had to start the year with deliveries out to customers and then invoicing in January instead. So I would say, speaking about volumes and speaking about orders, during this year, the most important to ask is, where do we sell? What hospitals are we in? Not so much about amounts, because it will come. I sound very stubborn there, but it is, we can destroy or we can do it in the right way. Yeah. And the right way is very much a top-down, to get the right hospitals to test, but also to buy, and then the others will follow, and the volumes will follow. Yeah.
So just to catch up on that one, because at the same time you have slimmed your organization. So with those targeted hospitals in the DAC and in UK, you are ready to enter into real contracts with the clients.
Yes.
Yes, and whether they lease or buy the unit depends on the market, but you're ready. There's no more issues when it comes to Europe. Yeah. So if we take the boat over the dam to US, you talk in your CEO letter in today's yearly report about proof of concept, Anna. And I know it's been difficult with these procedures. Could you take us through what is it? Is it one hospital delivering one order because you got this order back in August, or what should we interpret?
They got an order confirmation with the number that should be on the invoice, etc.
Yes.
But then they wanted the legal documents also to be signed, and people were away, and it was vacation. You know, all these things that happened and that are very delaying in the beginning. When you go into next year, you will not be so exposed, because there will be some upsides and some downside, but it will not be like this one that we need to explain why. We were very pleased. It is a prestigious hospital on the west side, and they are now ready to go with the first patient. And I hope that we will be able to press release, but they are very cautious about their names, the hospitals, and those that are in the area knows, because they know that it's a big value for the company if you can get the name as well. So we'll see.
Thanks a lot. So there's a question coming in here about the gross proceeds from the upcoming rights issue, Anna. Do you have to to pay back those 2 loans you took, like 10 plus 15 million, or are they long term?
They are long term. It is the family, the selling enterprise that is behind, and I know that if we can, as we have said, also for them it is important that we are successful in sales, but they have also possibility to wait for the repayment. Yeah.
Good, that's good. There's a little more technical question here, and in terms of your balance sheets, it's about your inventories and the receivables of a total 20 million. If you're not ready to answer the question, we could get back to the client and ask it, because Sharon is not available today. Do you have any?
I would like to say that the main part is the so to say the consignment, almost like that Sanmina is offering,
yes,
in North week with the base unit. So during the autumn, we have wished many times that we have had that in cash rather than binded in inventory, as they say. Yes. On the other hand, we have produced now that is enough for a stock for US. And I would like to say that you should never go out and commercialize if you are not sure that you can deliver. Yeah. That's the first mistake. You should always be sure that you have product. So that is what we have there.
Yeah. So this is the other way around. You actually have the products and everything ready at Sanmina, but you of course you're still waiting for the orders to pop in. Good, Anna. That's good. Let's see if there's more questions from the audience. Could see here. Otherwise, I have a couple of orders here. Sorry, a couple of questions. Just see here. Yeah, Anna, could you please? I know it's a slim organization, but you have before mentioned, your pipeline of clients, what kind of clients and stuff you're looking into. Could you very briefly update us on Europe and US with the organization you have in place now? What are you looking into?
We talk about approximately 15 hospitals in the UK and 15 in Germany. Around 30 we've talked about, and we are still there because we want to work on rather the usage and depth in these hospitals than to go to new clients, new customers. And especially when we are so limited in resources, we must do that. The amount of hospitals is quite large than if you compare to the US, where we are even more focused. Then we talk about a handful. That means 4 or 5 of the top hospitals, and the names with all of them: UC Davis, MD Andersen, MSK, etc. All the big cities where they have hospitals, but we have decided only to go for the cancer centers that are prestigious, and that is the top 5. Out of them, we are actively working with 2 now. And so that shows again, we are really trying to be focused. Not trying, we are focused because we can't afford to spread thin. And in this small world of radiologists and a few breast surgeons as well, they know each other very well. So they are following what is happening, and they have been on education. We have people that are actually Europeans but working in the hospitals in the US, where we are now active. So it is a small world, and that suits us very well. A Swedish company, Karolinska, is where the product has been researched and developed. Everyone knows about the places. It's not difficult to get through them. So that's how we work. And I think with the interest and with the extreme, so to say, that we have a unique product, we are not, so to say, going out with something that it's a premium price product, but it's affordable within the reimbursement levels that they have. And with the, so to say, the benefits of being simple to use, it's just one button, press button away, as we call it. And that means they can do more procedures. And in the US, that is a numbers game, as one of the doctors said. The more we can do, the better. And we see that is also influencing, for example, in the UK, we got feedback now when they have used our vacuum needle, vacuum pulse, where they got a large sample. And that sample means that it confirms that the vacuum pulse needle can take also patients from the stereotactic area. And that's an area where it's expensive. It takes around an hour per patient to do the procedure. You use the MR. It is a complicated. It is when you have calcifications in the breast, and then if you can't see it on ultrasound, then of course you need stereotactic. But there are calcifications in the breast where you can see it on ultrasound, and then the beauty is if you can go in with our vacuum pulse needle, which now the doctors have seen you can do, and that means they keep the patient is not lost in the system where they need to rebook for another consultation, and they get more done. So efficiency, simplicity with the product. It is a complicated technology, but it is very simple to use. This combination is what is the beauty for the doctor. And that's why they have been patient.
Thanks a lot. I don't know if there's any other questions. Doesn't seem like there's any other questions. So with that said, Anna, thanks a lot for a thorough presentation of your current situation. And we will be back hopefully after you raised some money.
Yeah.
And with that said, I would like to first of all thank you, Anna, and thanks a lot for all the good questions from the audience. And hope you enjoy your weekend when it's time for weekend. With that said, have a nice day.
Thank you.